Hello and welcome along, and as you saw in the introduction, we're going to be looking at this today. So this is the PowerA officially licensed Nintendo Switch controller called the Nano. So the reason I picked this up, I got this off Amazon a couple of weeks ago. I paid £40 for it. It's going to be around £40, $50. I'll leave links down below of where you can get it. And I wanted to get it because I've seen a lot of it. I had it on pre-order and then the pre-order kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. So I completely forgot about it. And then when it came through, I thought I'd give it its dues and give it a good old test. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to break this down. We're going to go over it, the look and feel, and a few of the features. Then we're going to go over some of the positives, and then we're going to go over a few of the negatives and the things that I don't like about this controller. There's three things in particular that I don't like about this controller. Well worth looking because I don't know whether the pros outweigh the cons. I'd love to know your thoughts on the negatives that I've picked out on this. Are they being a bit nitpicky, or are they game changers for you? Okay, so in the box, what you get is small things. This flap here is kind of got a little magnet in it, so you can open it up and have a look at it, what's inside it. I think that's a nice little feature. And then just a load of branding, a load of gumph around it on there. And then you also get yourself an instruction pamphlet. Brilliant. And then you get yourself a really good quality 1.8 meter cable, nicely terminated, feels really thick and good quality. I still got it tied up because that's what I do with all my new cables. I don't use them because I have a USB Type-C already plugged in, so I like to keep them. And then finally you get yourself a lovely plush drawstring bag. So this is lovely. So if you ever want to take it away, pop that in there. Pop that in your bag and it won't get scratched. There's no protection at all because it's not padded in the slightest, but it will stop it getting scratched if you're going to put that in your bag. So that's a nice little feature to have its own bag. That's good. Great. Okay, so going over the controller then, on the front we've got the usual setup. 2 thumbsticks, asymmetrical, D-pad, screenshot home, plus minus, X, Y, A and B. Okay, I'm going to be talking about the thumbsticks and the D-pad later on. So the X, the plus and the minus and the home and the thing, they are lovely because they're really raised up. So they're really easy to get hold of. And these are fantastic because it's a smaller controller, but the buttons are almost the same size as the Pro controller. So if you look here, look, so there's the size of the Pro controller. That's why it's called Nano, because it's a bit smaller. But as you can see, these buttons are a lot larger in relation to the size of the body than they are for this one. Again, I've got a smaller one here. This is from Stoger Game. As you can see, tiny little buttons in proportion to the size of the case, but they've increased these. So that's really nice that they've made the buttons nice and big. And they all feel great. So these 8 here feel really, really, really good. No problems at all with those buttons there. And then on the top here, beautiful. Can you see the colour coding of the triggers? The blue and the red and the grey to match the Joy-Cons. Love it. They're digital, as you'd expect. Not much travel to them, but can you see there's a little bit of a lip there? That helps with the comfort. So resting your fingers on there like that. USB Type-C connector there, and a sync button there, and that small LED is to tell you whether it's charging or not. And then pinging over, there's one of its main selling features. They've got these extra buttons here. They call them AGR and AGL, and that's the function button to be able to set these two. And we'll talk about that in a bit. And then on the bottom there, we've got the LED indicator to say that I'm connected to player 1, so 1, 2, 3, or 4. So comfort-wise, it's lovely. This feels like a beautifully comfort. I mean, I've got adult-sized, probably average-sized hands, and it feels fine. With the Switch, the Pro controller, yeah, it feels nice. Everyone who plays with one of these knows they're really comfortable, and I haven't got an issue with this at all. Because of the triggers, it just feels like a really nice controller to hold. And when you spin it over, this button here is beautifully placed for your middle finger. Enough resistance for you just to be able to rest your finger on it without pressing it, but if when you do want to press it, you press it. It registers, so that's a really nice feature for these. As I say, like, it feels like a really nice premium controller. So the positives are the feel quality. The quality just feels lovely. These two buttons here, the colours that we've talked about, and also the sticks. Now, when I've reviewed all these other controllers, I just thought sticks, yeah, great, and they all feel fantastic. These are on another level. These feel like really good. There's enough resistance to push it. I mean, for first-person shooters, I just think these would be brilliant because the amount of control you can get without it slamming to the left or slamming to the right. The amount of control is wonderful on them. These sticks feel really good. So it's rubber on the top and there's concave as well, but completely smooth. There's no kind of grippy texture to them. But they feel great. We'll talk about dead zones and things in a bit when I jump onto the Switch, but overall, and the L3 and R3 just feel fantastic. So that's another really nice thing about this. And again, another thing I really like about this is it will wake up your Switch. Okay, so if your Switch is in sleep mode, all you do is press A or B or home or whatever, get it all lighting up, and these will flash to say that it's looking for your Switch. It will find your Switch in sleep mode, and it will wake it up, which is a really big positive. And then I just want to talk about the first negative while we're talking about the buttons as well, and it's the D-pad. D-pads are a personal preference, I've always said that, and I haven't had a problem with most D-pads I've tried on most controllers, but I've got a bit of an issue with this D-pad, and I'm going to try and explain it as best as I can. So the controller shell itself is moulded downwards, okay, so it's kind of like a curve to it, but it seems like the D-pad is staying flat. Okay, now with that, bearing that in mind, the right and the up, when you press them down to register. When you press it down, it goes almost flat to the casing, and that's not the same with it being down and left. It's raised up when you press down and left, but when you press right and up, it goes flush with the shell, and it doesn't feel like you're pressing it, and you feel like you have to really press it, but just for right and up. It's a weird sensation. So when you're pressing right, sometimes it doesn't register because when you're pressing it, you feel like you need to press it further, kind of in. Does that make sense? So for me, the D-pad isn't fantastic. And if you need a D-pad for a lot of your gaming, maybe something else. But because it goes so flush to the shell, I find it difficult to press. Okay, so as well as the features as well, it does have motion, it doesn't have NFC, and it doesn't have rumble as well. I don't know if that's a negative that would concern you, but there's no rumbling. The battery inside, it's a cracker though. It takes a few hours to charge up and it lasts 20 hours, which is really good, especially for a controller of this size. The battery is fantastic. 20 hours play out of that you're going to get. Okay, so it will work with the Switch Lite and the Switch, and what we'll do now is I will just go through onto the Switch. So if I ping up the Switch, there we go, we're already on. And I've already connected it, but what you would need to do is just go into change grip order, and then once you've done that, either connect it up to the cable, which I did, and then order that, or press the sync button and it will find it, and it finds it really easily. And as I said before, it wakes up the Switch, which is a real bonus. Okay, and this is another thing I've found that isn't the greatest for me. Okay, so as we've said, we've got this connected to player 1. What we're going to do now is we're going to connect this one to player 2. So let's get this connected. There we go. So we've got this connected to player 2. And what we'll do is we'll connect this to player 3 as well. So now it's searching for it. There we go. Now we've connected this to player 3. Okay, so now you've got the 1, 2, and 3. As you can see, 1, 2, and 3 on there. Now, can you see the difference between any of those on the screen? Yes, of course you can. Look on the screen just below the controller. The icon there is for the battery. I have my Type-C cable here. If I plug this in, you can see on the top there is a red LED that comes on, okay? You see that? So we now know that this is charging. Okay? There's no indication on the screen that this is charging. And the only way that you can see that this is charging is by that tiny red LED. And that will go out when it's finished charging. So there's no way of seeing whether there's enough battery on or not. Admittedly, with this other third-party controller, you can't see how much battery is in there on the screen. But even if I do plug this in, you can see that it's charging, and you can really clearly see that it's charging there. Okay, and on the screen, you can see that there's that lightning bolt to say it's charging. And similarly, with the Pro controller, when you plug it in, you can see that it starts charging there, so you can see on the screen that it's charging, and it will tell you, because of the Pro controller, how much battery you've got left. even though there's only a small LED there. Okay, so again, it's a very small thing, but I thought I'd just point it out because I haven't seen many people point it out that it's really quite difficult to see whether this battery is flat on this one, whereas on other controllers, much easier. Okay, what we'll do now is once we're all connected, we'll get onto the settings. So if we go down to settings, we go down to here to controller and sensors. And we go test input devices. What I want to do is I want to just to show you how easy it is to program these. So we're going to program AGL to be on the R. Okay, and all you do is you hold this button down in the back center, hold it down until this flashes, and then you choose which button you want. So we're going to do R, flashes like that, and then we're going to do AGL. So that is set to R now. And if we go into test input devices, test controller buttons, and I'll press AGL. There we go, it's on the R. And you can do that on the fly. You don't need to be in the menus. In game, if you want to do that, you can just do it by holding it down and go, you want to change that to B, and then that one is now B. Really easy to program these two. These are fantastically easy to do. If I come out of there, and then we go up to motion sticks, and then we click the left one. As you can see, no drift. I wouldn't expect drift after such a short period of time using it, because I've only been using it for a few weeks now. No drift, but as you see, no dead zones, left, up, right and down, dead easy. And then on the right one, nothing there, no dead zones, right, left, up, down, done. Lovely, really nice. Okay, so let's jump into a game. What we got going on at the moment, Super Mario 3D All-Stars. And here is where we can see the motion. So nice sensitive motion, no problems with that at all. And it just feels great. It feels like a really nice controller, nice and sensitive, no lag whatsoever. The motion's really good. No rumble. But nice and comfortable, so really good. So do let me know, what do you think? Is the lack of rumble, is the D-pad a no-go for you? What about the battery indicator? That's a very small thing, isn't it? When you're going to get 20 hours anyway, I don't think that really matters too much about the battery, because you're going to play it, then you're going to want to put it on charge overnight, which you'll do anyway. So I don't think it's too much of an issue having the battery. But the D-pad and the rumble, I'd love to know your thoughts on whether rumble is a key feature for you, or whether the D-pad is a key feature for you. The bonus of these two paddles, I can't live without kind of like these extra buttons on here. I think these are fantastic, and they really do help with the game, because you don't have to take your fingers off the buttons. You just click these, and to be able to map them so easily, I think is tremendous. Okay, so do let me know your thoughts. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll leave links below where you can get this. You're about £40 or $50 for this. I think this is a perfect for a second controller if you're going to be taking this around to your mate's house. Just a few lack of the features. Love to know your thoughts. Okay, so that was my look at the PowerA officially licensed Nintendo Switch controller called the Nano. I've been Console and Tech Accessories. Until the next video, bye bye.